thanks for making the time today to attend our webinar, where we're going to hear from some of our members about their experiences at the Dublin Convention. And just quickly, I'd just like to go around and ask everyone where they're from. I was expecting a couple of people from America, but I don't see any Americans here. But look, can we just go around and just say where you're from? Starting at the top of the screen, I can see you, Yvonne. Where are you from?
Kia ora, I'm Yvonne Simpson from New Zealand.
Keep going, people.
Ralda Forsen, I'm from Australia, Queensland.
Debbie Cobby, I'm from Rotorua in New Zealand, and I'm a member of the Rotorua Club and the online club for Soroptimists.
I'm going to jump in now. I'm Libby Trembath from Griffith in New South Wales, Australia.
I'm Lilian from Malacca, Malaysia. Baby Club. Hi, every sister.
I'm Philippa Robert.
Now.
Sorry.
You go.
Thank you. I'm Philippa Robert. I'm from Adelaide, South Australia.
And I'm Jill Nichols, and I'm from New Plymouth in New Zealand.
Hi, and I'm Jane Stent, and I'm from Kapiti Coast, just north of Wellington in New Zealand.
Yay, I guess I'm the closest you've got to someone from America because I'm in Canada. West Pauline, Penroley, Western Canada region. I'm just outside Vancouver.
Welcome.
We were on a tour together post Dublin.
No, I wasn't on that one. I was on a different tour post Dublin, but we did meet in Dublin.
Yeah.
There you go. Christine, I can see you're there too, our esteemed president.
Hi everyone, welcome. Yeah, Christine Johnston, President of Southeast Asia Pacific. Hi Lily, how are you?
Judy.
Oh, and we did have Liz Butson, but she has just disappeared. Yeah. She must have got nervous. She'll probably hook back in. Liz is from WA, and she's our assistant member convener. So thank you and welcome everyone. And I'm pleased we've got a bit of international flavour, Malaysia and Canada and New Zealand, Australia, Cambodia. So we're very spread around. So I'm using one of our other members' Zoom. So if you're wondering who Jasmine Noir is, she's one of our members of our online community. Just let me use her Zoom today. So look, thank you and welcome again. So if you're like me, you probably had FOMO, a bit of fear of missing out when you were seeing people posting all their wonderful things that were happening at Dublin, and Facebook was inundated with different posts from different clubs and people about what was happening at Dublin. So, you know, our club also, or our community, felt a bit envious as well. And, you know, we decided that our online community would put on a webinar to give our members the opportunity to hear from people who attended. We're also lucky as part of this webinar, we've got Ralda here, who's part of the planning committee for the Southeast Asia Pacific Conference in Queensland next year. And I know she's going to touch on a bit of that today and is keen to hear any thoughts that people might have that the planning committee might take into consideration. And we also have Judy with us as well, who has been a delegate for the CSW 67, so the Commission on the Status of Women. And she was lucky enough to go to New York in March. So I know she's going to touch on some of that CSW 67 as well. Now, also, it's Membership Month. So we wanted to do this webinar as a way of sharing and celebrating the opportunities that membership can give. You know, this is a great opportunity for us to come together and to be inspired, to share some ideas, network, and hopefully learn from one another. So these webinars are also something that our online community, soon to be club, want to do more of, some more webinars. So as we progress to becoming an online club, we want to put on more. We also want to help clubs that maybe are a bit nervous about putting on webinars, maybe that's something we as the online community/club could help other clubs do as well. So today is, the second time we've done it, so we're still learning. I will send out an evaluation at the end of the session via email, just to get any feedback, ideas, things we might be able to improve, and even topics that you might be interested in if we continue to do these webinars. So I encourage you to give us some feedback, as we start our journey. So the overview of today's session, we have 5 presenters presenting in order of appearance. So I'll just go through them quickly. We've got Yvonne Simpson. Yvonne, as we know, is from New Zealand. She's currently a member of Westlands, SI Westlands, and has been a member for 27 years. So just say hi, Yvonne, so we know who you are again. Say hi, so the camera will go.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. We also have Judy Toll. She's from Western Australia, and she's been a member of Soroptimist for 8 years, and is a member of SI Perth. Just say hello, Judy.
Hello.
Thank you. Next presenting, we have Lilian Tu from Malaysia, and Lilian is the president of SI Malacca, which has only been going for 10 months. So welcome, Lilian.
Hello, everyone.
We have Jill Nichols from New Zealand, and her club is SI New Plymouth. And hi, Jill. How long have you been a member for, Jill?
I've been a member since 2018.
Okay.
So,
yeah, about the same as me.
5 years. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. And we have Rauda with us, who's from Queensland, and Rauda's a member of SI Bayside in Queensland, and has been a member for 40 years, Rauda, or is it more?
40. Yeah. So yeah, been around a long time, and
excellent.
Still going, I guess.
Yes, well, we're so pleased to have you on. So, we've got people like Lilian, who's been a member for 10 months, right through to Rauda, who's been here for 40 years. So thank you, everyone. There's a nice, diverse group. So basically what's going to happen is Yvonne's going to give an overview just of what the Soroptimist conventions are about, what's happening, how it happens. Then we'll have 4 presentations from our other 4 guests, and they'll do presentations for about 10 to 15 minutes. I've got PowerPoints, we've got YouTube clips, I've got to share my screen. So again, fingers crossed that the technology works. I'm sure it will. So that's about it. What I'd say is, if everyone keeps themselves muted while the presentations are happening, so if you click, you'll see up on probably your top right hand screen, it'll say mute, and if you just click on, oops, sorry, Lilian, I just asked you to unmute. I don't know why, I was just clicking. If you just click on your blue, that'll mute you, and that'll give the presenters a clear way of presenting. So I'm going to share the screens. The presenters will have their, they'll talk to the PowerPoint, and they'll just tell me to flick across. So look, we're recording it, and hopefully we'll put that up on the new YouTube video channel that the Soroptimist have, Southeast Asia Pacific, because we have had a few members who haven't been able to attend and asked if it will be recorded. So look, we'll start with Yvonne. As I said, Yvonne's from New Zealand. She's currently an SI member of Westlands for 27 years. She's been to 4 conferences. She's also been a Federation President from 2010 to 2012, and also the International President, or as my husband says, the President of the World Soroptimist. So Yvonne's been the President of World Soroptimists in 2015 to 2017, and currently Yvonne is our Federation membership convener. So Yvonne, I'm going to pass it over to you. I'm going to share my screens, and hopefully everything will go like it has to.
I think you got Relders, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you. It's a great opportunity to review and to then look forward. So I think we've got that nicely balanced here. So thanks, Kim, for the opportunity. And I did attend the conventions. I have been to 4. So if we move on to the next slide, the reason these are the 4 that I've been to, and you can see that they actually go around the federation. So each federation has a turn. They happen every 4 years and generally in the month of July. So, 3 days, 4 days in July and then in rotation. And with Colleen being here, it's great to know that we're heading off to your neck of the woods come 2027. But Montreal in Canada, Istanbul, Turkey. Montreal was run by SA Americas. Europe ran the Istanbul one. Our federation ran the Kuala Lumpur one under the very esteemed chairpersonship of Su Yonganalingam, and then of course the Dublin one. So thank you for that. Moving on. I'm very happy for anybody to have these slides. So there are things that you need to do if you're going to go to convention. You need to think of the bigger picture, because generally it's in a place that you may not have been to before, or you want to use as a stop off and go to other places. So think about the bigger picture if you're heading that way, because there are things that are happening before the convention and after that you might like to factor in and save up for. So for example, they're all optional before the convention, of course, and so you do need to sign up and pay for those that are needing to pay. But I just wanted to emphasize the Soroptimist International AGM. It's generally the day before the convention starts, and it's a chance to go and listen to what the board is doing. And I do know that some Soroptimists are very interested in that aspect of the organisation. And then, of course, you have the 3 days of convention, which includes 2 evening functions, the friendship evening to start and the gala dinner, which is the finale. But there is a free evening in between, so you might like to look at what you want to do in that time as well. And then, of course, after the convention, there's a chance to do post-convention tours. Now, sure, you get to be a tourist and have a look around, but you also, if you sign up for these ones, you're going with Soroptimists. And what this is about really is building layers of friendship. So you see somebody once and then you meet them again and that sort of thing. So it's great to build up those connections. Okay, so we've got that. Thank you. I think you need to go back one. Go back one. Can you go back a slide? Yep, and then the next one. Okay, so you need to save your money, and so you've got 4 years to start saving for the cruise based in Alaska. So this was based on Dublin. The early bird fee is the best one to go for because it's the cheapest. And for me, the early bird fee was €455. Now that was a major investment for me, and it was for anybody else going. So if you can factor that into your budget, that's the major expenditure. No, go back. I haven't finished yet. I'll tell you and just go on. She wants to. Okay, so the fee gets higher the closer you get to convention, and sometimes they have a day attendance. So if you anyone can go for 1 day, then you can do so. At no cost, of course, is the AGM. There's no cost to attend that. And if you are a member of the chat line group, there is no additional cost for their lunch. They generally get together for lunch. Now, the chat line is a group of women who have been going for, the chat line's been going for about 25 years, and they generally get together as a group because they have lots of conversations with each other between conventions, and they also do projects and advocacy work together and care for each other. So they're a special friendship bond group, and they have traditionally got together at convention. Now, if you are paying the €455 fee, that includes your friendship night function. We want to get everybody there dressed up in their national costume or something like that to show who they are. And then on the last night, there's a gala dinner. Now, for Dublin, that was an extra expenditure. So there was an option. Some people came just for the dinner. And that's the thing that you can take your meaningful other or person who you're traveling with. So that was €110. So that's the sort of budget that I needed to go for, was €565 for that particular, those two events. So the next one. Okay, so there's a program. Back a slide again, sorry. You seem to be jumping. There was a special, they try and bring in something special for each convention. And of course, because it's 4 years and because post-COVID and whatever else, we had a few new things happening at Dublin, and they included the launch of the new emblem, the launch of the new Soroptimist International Foundation. We had the United Nations representatives as a panel session. That was very exciting. And what was, for me, was probably the highlight was that the African Federation, which has been chartered in the last couple of years, was there in force in their own right, and they were part of the program. Now, generally with a convention, there's a bit of a roll call, and sometimes there's a flag ceremony with flags, and people carry their flags on stage, etc., as they did in KL. For this one in Dublin, they had an electronic roll call of flags, but it was quite impressive to see the flags go up. Okay, next, so that's part of the program. Now, why go? Well, we go to be uplifted and inspired to hear from what's gone on in the last 4 years and to hear what's going to be a focus for the next few years. And the lady on the right is Suyong from our federation. She's from Kuala Lumpur, and I think she's the first Asian Soroptimist International president. And that's pretty exciting that we have provided that. And so we did hear from her. You also hear about the president's appeals and other projects that have happened in the past 4 years. The presidents of the federations have an opportunity to share what each federation has done, and that's a real buzz, is to see what is covered by the federations. Our president Christine, who's on this now, did a very good presentation on what our federation did. That was very good, and we've got access to that. There are other inspirational speakers like Mary Robinson, people who are outside the organisation. Workshops are often part of the format, and then there's the change of the signia and the office. So those are other things that are generally in the program. So that's the formal program. There's an informal program and lots of breaks, good sized breaks and lunches to get together, get those teams together, get photographs done, and network away. So next slide. And also to see what other clubs are doing. Perhaps there's a display of, this time there was a posters, but there could be other displays. And there's sales table. Now this pin I'm wearing was for sale. It's a Soroptimist pin with the orange flower. So it's one good to use on the 25th of the month or the 16 days of activism. So there's those things, scarves, items made by different people who come and sell them, and lots and lots of jewellery. And it's a chance to buy a memento to take away and see some more information. Thank you. For me, it's also around the breaks and lunchtime are really important, about networking, with making friends, catching up with friends. I met up with my counterpart from Great Britain. I met up with friends I hadn't seen for 4 years. I met up with friendship-linked people who came to my club. There's a chance to actually consolidate that social connection that we have through Soroptimists. Next one. Now, the numbers, I just thought it was interesting that we've got a membership worldwide of 66,000, and we had about, I think, nearly 1,700 there at convention, and about half of the countries were represented in that facility. So that's pretty cool. So that's a good turnout. I mean, 50 to 60 countries is not a bad turnout for an international convention. Next one. Okay, the other factor that you need to consider when you're staying somewhere at a convention, of course, is finding a place to stay, and they're generally a whole lot available. Dublin was a little bit different, I think, in that it was a new area of Dublin, and so they were mostly hotels. But you could find Airbnbs and other backpackers if you wanted to travel a little bit in. Now, they generally have a conference hotel. In this case, it was the Spencer Hotel, which was the hotel that the organising committee dealt with mostly. We stayed at the Clayton Cardiff Lane, and the cost was €215 per night. Now, that's quite high, but we chose that because of the proximity to the venue, which means you could look out the door, you could see the venue and just aim for it. You didn't have a long way to walk. Lots of Soroptimists staying there, so you met over breakfast, you met over other times. It was another good way of meeting up with more Soroptimists, and then stay on longer if you want to. But that was probably one of the dearer hotels that I've stayed in. But if I was staying with a Soroptimist friend, it would have been half that cost. So that's another way of doing it, is doubling up that way. Okay. Oops, I don't know what happened there, but you come together to be inspired and re-energized to meet the Soroptimist International mission, and all those things that are on the screen are ways of doing that, listening to speakers and getting together with Soroptimist friends. So that's generally my overview. So I hope that gives you some information and a reason to start budgeting for it.
Lovely. Thank you, Yvonne. That was excellent. Look, we'll take questions and at the end of all of the presentations. So we'll keep moving on if that's okay. You can use the chat if you want to put anything in the chat, question that you might forget, and we can get back to them at the end. So thank you so much, Yvonne. That was really helpful. Okay, so our next presenter is Judy Toll, and Judy, as I said, is from Western Australia. She's been a member for 8 years of Soroptimist and currently a member of SI Perth. She's the current president of SI Perth and also the president-elect of Soroptimist International Western Australia. Judy's been to, excuse me, Judy's been to 2 conventions. And as I said, she's also been the SISEAP delegate at the CSW 67 in March 2023 at the United Nations in New York. So we're looking forward to your presentation, Judy. And as I said, I know she had a dinner last night. It's early in WA. It's a little bit after 8. So thank you, Judy, for taking the time. So I'll
Okay, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land and respect past, present and emerging leaders, their continuing cultural heritage, beliefs and relationships with the land, which continues to be important today. The next slide, thanks. Okay, so I was selected as a delegate for the SISEAP to attend the SIW 67. Soroptimist, translated from Latin, means best for woman, and the organisation started 101 years ago in California. As we've just heard from Yvonne, it's in 120 countries and we've got 66,000 members. And for me, it's about empowering, educating and enabling women and girls all around the world. Next slide. Okay, as a delegate, one of the first things we did was we went to the Australian Mission reception and we met the Australian Ambassador for Gender Equality, and there's a nice picture of us there. I was very lucky to go with these 2 ladies. They were just amazing, Danielle and Christine, and they just helped me so much, and I just had the most amazing time. Next slide. And then we went and celebrated 100 years of Soroptimist New York. We actually went and met up with the Soroptimist New York ladies. But because we were at the CSW, there was other Soroptimists in New York, so they came as well. And that was a great night to network with Soroptimists from all around the world. CSW is the chief policy-making body on women's human rights and gender equality at the UN. It's held over 2 weeks at the headquarters in New York, and it's also part of the United Nations Economic and Social Council, and it promotes and monitors women's human rights. Okay, it first started in February 1947 in New York. There was 15 government representatives. They were all women, with Eleanor Roosevelt as the chair. And this contributed to the drafting of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And sometimes I think we need to go back and look at the history to remember how far we've come and also how it all evolved. So I've just got this little video that I'd like to show you. It's called The Woman Who Shaped the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
Hang on, I just have to do something here. This
Yes,
is another
share the sound, don't we? Yeah.
Yes, I've got to share. So I've just got to stop sharing the screen and
technology.
Yes, so I'm going to go share sound. Forgot to do that. So now we should have sound. Can you hear that?
Yes.
Don't know how to turn it.
Okay, next slide. I hope you enjoyed that history.
Yes, thank you. Is that your
okay? Right? Yeah. So I've got another video that I felt I'd show you. It explains behind the scenes of CSW probably much better than I can. One of the interesting things in the video, there was this young Pakistani girl who was a youth advocate. She can now not go to the UN. She can now not advocate for anything. So it just shows the changes that can happen within a couple of years. So this one is behind the scenes at CSW, so you've got a bit of understanding how it all works.
You know, CSW is a melting point of ideas.
It's running, thinking, and talking.
CSW is women, it's youthful, and it is vision.
It's 2 weeks that are dedicated to women and women's issues by the United Nations, which is huge.
You are building global movements, raising awareness, inspiring change. Advocates for gender equality are mobilizing like never before.
This is my first time to participate in the CSW. I think it's super amazing to see all the people coming from across the world, especially youth. So today's event, I was a speaker. It was about child marriages, and I was taking notes in the session because there were like so many information. Everyone here is so passionate to join different sessions, to get information, to empower themselves so they could go back and empower other people in their communities.
My day-to-day is attending many side events and official events that discusses the CSW priority theme, but also adds in a lot of other exciting things that women want to talk about. We need big, bold steps, not incremental steps. It is also an opportunity to have lots of discussions in the corridors because as you walk around, you just meet so many people. CSW is also an important time for civil society to be on the platform as experts and for them to guide and to advise governments on what they expect as the users of the policies that governments decide upon.
Well, I think this is my 5th CSW, but this is my first CSW as a public official. It's very different to be the Minister of Women's Affairs and really look at what we have to do from the government, what are our obligations, what are the opportunities. CSW is a very interesting process where you really bring all the knowledge and the agendas of the different countries to really make women's rights a reality.
This is an opportunity for us to put our agenda on the table and talk about the things that we want and what's affecting people. Today, I'll be part of the group conversation. I'm one of the facilitators, and we're just basically trying to figure out the way forward and the various challenges that we face as young people.
If we don't come together and do this for young people, our children would have the same fate as we're having right now. Nothing is going to change.
It's not only a gathering and learning, but it's also to get together to agree, you know, to have conclusions.
As we live here, you are richer with ideas and new possibilities of what could be done to improve the status of women and girls.
I believe that what we are doing today here will bear fruit, and one day our daughters and granddaughters will not go through what we've gone through.
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you.
I hope you've gained a good insight from that. Can you just go back to the last slide?
Yes.
Yeah.
That one.
Oh, no. Yeah, keep going down. Yeah, that one. Christine's just put a note in the messages saying be prepared to go for a lot of walking, and it's very busy and it's cold, which it is, but once you get inside that building, it's just vibing. The other thing is you actually have to have a pass to get in, and this is a copy of my pass, and you have to queue up for that as well, and it can take quite a while. And every time you go into the UN, it's like going to the airport, and you have to be scanned, and all your bags have got to be checked every day. Yeah, so it is quite a process to get inside. Okay, next slide. Yep. So the Australian delegation for the CSW 67, there was 4 Soroptimists from Australia, there was 5 federations, 67 Australian representatives, so they would have been like government representatives, not-for-profit, things like Girl Guides, YMCA, church organisations, and there was daily debrief and you prepare for the next day. So you could come together like at 5 o'clock every day and just have a bit of a debrief and talk about what would be happening for the next day. And that photo that was up, that was the whole delegation. Okay, so there's approximately 15,000 people from civil society that attend. And the theme is, there's a different theme every year. The theme for this year was innovation and technology and change, education in the digital age. The theme coming up for 2024 is about poverty. There's 197 member states in the UN, and they set the CSW's agreed conclusions. So member states all need to sign and be in agreement with the agreed conclusions. And sometimes they might be up till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning discussing these and trying to get all the countries to agree. And also they have to work on the language. The language has to have meaning in all the different countries, and one word might mean something quite different in one country to another. Next slide. There was writing statements in chalk to express different forms of gender-based violence online, and this was on the concrete outside, but I won't show you this video because I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I can send the PowerPoint round if you want to click more of the links. I had to do a statement for CSW 67 as part of going there. Next slide. One of the things that I quite enjoyed was on International Women's Day was while we were there, they had a talk to do with STEM from dance. So women of colour in the US only make up 4% of the STEM workforce nationally. So what they do is they get them in by dance, but then they teach them how to code, and how they teach them how to code is by their costumes, for the lighting of the costumes and also the lighting of the backdrops. And I thought that was quite a clever way of getting them into STEM. And STEM is science, technology, engineering and maths. And also CSW 67, there was a digital democracy for disaster parallel event that we ran. And Soroptimists act as responders to disasters, supporting their communities and to recover. And women are more vulnerable in disasters. That's because they're more likely to be the caregivers. They're looking after the animals, their families, and the elderly and like children. That is online if people want to watch it, the whole presentation. With the CSW 67, the agreed conclusions, the areas of focus for Soroptimists was education and training, education systems to challenge the gender divide gaps of knowledge and skills, and as well as access to relevant technology. And it was down as STEAM, and art was put in there. So it's recognised as playing an important role along with education and training and making progress in the digital field. Next slide. One area that they were quite impressed with is the Australian government is leading the way with eSafety Commission, and there's a really great website to help people to stay safe online. and there's a picture of it there. It's really a good website, and yeah, it's great. Next slide. Okay, for me, my experience, it increased my understanding of worldwide women's issues. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It was a way to network with women from all around the world, to shape the type of leader that I would like to become. One experience I'll never forget was in the town hall. The Ukraine ladies got together and they did a statement to the UN Secretary General, and it was very emotive, and it just made me realise how sad this war is and how it affects everyone. It's important that we advocate for change. I'm just so grateful that SISEAP gave me this opportunity, and we have a voice at the UN, and we have to remember this and use it. That's probably my takings from my experience. Next slide. I did actually also attend the Dublin Convention. There, I've put a after video in there if people want to watch that later. There was over 17,000 Soroptimists attend, which is what Yvonne has already said. Next slide.
Ready? Did I
go
back?
Yeah, once. Yeah.
I still haven't worked out how to go back. I'm on a Mac.
Okay, this is the West Australian contingents that attended, and the T-shirts went down really well, the Aboriginal T-shirts. They all knew we were from Australia, and I felt they looked like really smart. Mary Robinson, the ex-president of Ireland, spoke, and she's calling on women of the world to unite in the action of climate change through the project Dandelion. And it's inspired by the resilience of the dandelion. All the parts of the dandelion can be consumed, and the roots regenerate soil. And her main takeaways for me was we need to cut carbon emission. If we don't change the way we're doing things, it's going to be a very hard world to live in. And the crisis is unfair because a lot of women in the third world countries aren't really doing anything different, but it's going to be affecting their crops and their water supplies. So we have to raise awareness, and we have to change the way that we are doing things. And it was interesting because Sion's project is Save Mother Earth as well. So we have to plant healthy, and the planet has to be healthy and sustain it for the future generations. We've got to plant mangoes and trees. We've got to reduce the dependency on cars. We've got to use public transport, cycle or walk more. We've got to clean up our wildlife in our areas. We've got to conserve and preserve forests and wildlife. The other presentation that was quite confronting for me was from Jim Gamble on safeguarding. The risk is not so much from the technology we have, but it's the way that people use the technology. You know, these things have been going on for some time. As he explained, in 1874, Henry Healer was charged for 130,000 indecent images on glass of children. So, yeah, it's been happening for some time. It's just that it's all moved online now. The online harms have offline roots. You know, so when particularly the young ones have got mental health issues, they're unhappy at home, they've got low self-esteem, they get groomed online. And also isolated, lonely people, and it can give them a sense of belonging online because these people are giving them attention. And one thing that he was told us about was this 15-year-old boy that got groomed online by an older lady, and he ended up sending her nude pictures. And then she said to him, oh, I need like $10,000, you know, otherwise I'm going to exploit you with these pictures. And he said, no, I don't have that money. He didn't want to tell his parents. She said, well, just kill yourself. And he did kill himself. So, you know, it's just really quite sad that these things are going on. So they have to be educated, you know, that you need to be safe online and what we can do and empower the young people and instill hope. I didn't realise this either. Content can be removed offline. The sooner that they find out about it, the easier it is to get it offline. Yeah, and, you know, to permission for young people to make mistakes. It's okay. More conscious adults have to be more conscious online as well, parents, knowing the effects of children playing games like grand auto theft. You know, if it is 18 plus, well, there's a reason why it is 18 plus. So we just have to be aware of what we are doing. Next slide. This is our new emblem. There was a lot of discussion about it, and there's a video that's a webinar that's been done on it, and I think it's actually online now. So I suppose we need to watch it and embrace the new emblem. The Irish public speaking winners, these were young high street students, and they spoke at the convention. The first one spoke on democracy and peace intertwined, and Alice spoke on the new epidemic of mental health. They were very inspiring young speakers, and we as Soroptimists are doing quite a bit in the public speaking space. They're opening the competition up for 11-year-olds in the schools. And we're having this convention in Alaska, a cruise in 2027, so we'll all need to save up for that. And the other thing was they advertised the 2024 Clubs Conference, Your Voice, Our Future Conference, in the 3rd to the 5th of May. So I hope you've enjoyed my talk. One last thing, CSW 68 is open. If you're interested, just apply, give it a go, and you might have the most wonderful experience. You know, just try. It was amazing. It's open.
Lovely, thank you.
Okay.
Excellent. Thanks, Judy. Look, we'll keep on motoring through. So our next one is Lilian, who, as I said, is one of our newest members at our newest club. Lilian is the president of the Malacca Club in Malaysia, and they chartered 10 months ago. So I'm looking forward to working with Lilian in the future as our online community progresses into a club, and hopefully Lilian can give me some tips about what to do. I also know Lilian has just finished doing our Thriving Futures leadership program that the Soroptimist Southeast Asia Pacific put on as well. So she's had a busy week meeting with fellow Soroptimists as well, doing that program. Now, Lilian has her St John's ambulance uniform on because she's taken some time out of her busy schedule to come along and present. And after this, she's off to do other business with the St John ambulance. So, yes, someone's just asked for a copy. I can give you a copy of all the PowerPoints, make them available for people if they're interested. So I'll hand it over to Lilian, and I'll share my screen again. Thank you. Oops. Are you right to, sorry, I didn't have it. I've been practicing doing them. Sorry. I don't know why that didn't go back up to the top.
Oh, okay.
Goodness. Sorry, close your eyes.
Okay.
Close your eyes.
Go to the first slide. Yes. One more. Yeah.
Hallelujah.
All right.
Thank you.
Good morning to everyone. Good morning to all my sisters all over the world. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. You can see just now, just things happen for reasons. Kim have glanced through all my photos. There's not much of information there, but yet, Kim, can we get the first slide first? First slide. Yeah, not too fast. Yeah. So, for the I make a difference here. After the two speakers, Yvonne and Judy, I would say they're very informative sharings. Mine more into personal feeling, because my personal experience, first time, I would say that I thanks to my secretary, the lady in purple, for actually, to my surprise, when I was still undergoing the grief of losing my mom, she actually just triggered me after SI's regions of Malaysia advised us to join Dublin Conventions, SI Convention. So she just triggered me, why not we join the sisters to Dublins, and we learn more about the organizations. So this triggered me. At the same time, I would like to actually get away from the feeling of grief. So I would say that it's very wise decision to make. And here you can see one lady in white. She's 80 years old, 15 years in SI. I would say thankful, very thank you to all my sister as SI regions of Malaysia, who actually been our backbones, encourage us, guide us, teach us, and back up us a lot, because we are only reaching our anniversary next month. It's almost 11 months. We touched 11 months this month, and it's very new, and I really actually very excited to know more. So Peng Shupeng, she is from Bangsa, SI Bangsa. She amazed us by her spirit to be very committed and passionate on SI. You can see she's very, I would say that is very senior to us, but she have very strong energy to move around with us. And on the first day, we actually, the flight was delayed, and we almost, I think we late about 45 minutes, and we rushed with hungry stomach in the rain to run for the AGM. And when we reached there, we were really excited to see a lot of women's superwomen, I would say, superwoman at my age, to see so many women gather together from all over the world. And again, I would say very thankful to my secretary for beside me to motivate me to join this convention. Next, Kim. And I would say I would like to share the feeling the moment I enter this convention hall. After the registrations, I see Peng, my seniors. I appointed her as my mentor. She really rushed all the way, hugging and kissing all her friends all over the world. I wonder that what's make her running after all the friends, catching up with the friends. And you see, I'm not sure who's on the wheelchair. She's still in the raincoat. She's still kissing and hugging. You know, after a few years of, I think, MCO, she says she missed a lot of friends here. So this really touched me and made me so eager to know more for the coming 4 days. And the next photo is a fellowship, also actually led by her. I think I'm not sure which club, but it was very rushed, you know, very cramped of the day. And again, pre-events, as what Yvonne shared just now, serums have actually gathered us together. It's supposed to be 10 of us, 11 or 10 of us in the group chat. My serum sisters have actually advised us to buy souvenirs, small souvenirs, to exchange in the conventions to all our sisters there. And of course, I was so excited. We actually bought a lot of souvenirs. And that photo was, I was in the hotel prepared for day one. And on the spot early morning, I written some message on the postcard of Malacca historical cities. So we was not told that when to do, but the moment I get there, I keep exchanging gift or keep approaching all the seniors, all the sisters there, and asking them. The numbers they give to me was very inspiring. They say, how many years are you? My question was very easy. How many years are you in SI? How old are you? And what made you stay on in SI? So this is come in my mind where I want to bring back all the information to my members, to inspire my members. So at the same time, I encourage my secretary to do the same thing as advised by my sister from Serum. Next, Kim. And you see these, all those other countries sister wearing their costumes. I so attracted to them. I snapped many photos and videos. And I also visited the poster corner. Very amazing and informative posters from all over the clubs. Next, Kim. I'm very proud to this poster where from Malaysia, Dr. Sarada. She was the one that approached me to take up this challenge to share today. Thank you, Dr. Sarada, for the opportunity given. So the poster, I went through so many posters and it's really opened my eyes. It's really an eyes openings for a small club and new club just born for a few months. I never know there's such a big futures or amazing thing that we can create together with the women. And I get a lot of ideas. And so far, our club only managed, out of 10 months, we managed to actually organize three events. So I will share later if you are interested, but very small events. And I say that I in the progress of making it bigger and better. Next, Kim. Thank you. This another a memory that actually triggered me, where I meet up with 43 years in SI, the sisters there, and another one is second generation. My first impression was, oh, all the seniors and amazing women are here, okay, to inspire each other to make a change in the world. And all of a sudden, I saw this young lady from Korea. She said, I'm a second generation of Soroptimist. Wow. I say, it's really excited to know more. And I keep looking for young generation, but yet it's only few. I made up with two only on that 4 days. These are one that I managed to take photo. I very, I would say that excited to know more young people to encourage where I'm at the middle age. I'm in between the generations, right? Next, Kim. Okay. This, I would say, is really inspired and touched my heart. It's a little bit story on my personal story. I like to take video and a photo to bring back to my clubs to share. I will share with them. Usually I will share what I learned, and the photo actually I wish to inspire them. When the moment I took this photo, and I happened to see a lot of sister on the wheelchair still coming to this convention at this age. I'm so tearful and I almost cry. Actually, I cry. Sincerely, I say I cry because in my heart say that I lost my mom for the past 5 months on that time. But yet my mom sent many mothers and sisters to me on that moment. I lost my mom, but she given me a lot of sisters after she left this beautiful world. And it's inspired me to have a second half of my life together with all these sisters all over the years, and to inspire more women, empower more women. Next, kid. These videos, I took it for 2 days, and every sister on the wheelchair actually encouraged me to move on stronger. Even though I'm alone now, I mean, alone in the team. I lost my mom, but yet you, the women in SI, have inspired me to make something different in this beautiful world. Next. Okay, there's a 5 Federation workshop, and I attended 2 workshops, which was, I would say, from SI Africa. It's about cervical cancer eliminations. I have a little bit of medical background, and it's attracted me on this topic. And I have actually learned a lot from what they have been doing at the other side of the world. So in Malaysia, I guess there's so much thing we can do together. And the next, another is gender equality. It's also one of the topic that attracted me for that 2 days, two days workshop. And I think this is another one inspired me about public speaking award winner. I think Judy had mentioned it. It's also an interesting area where with a young generation, we can develop a young generation here. All right, next game. This keynote presentation, there are so many keynote presentations that's very informative and encouraging and motivated us. These two I like to highlight is about the SDG. It was shared by Joanne in Malaysia, but yet I'm not so clear about it. But when I attend this convention, it made me more clearer that we have 17 SDG, and we will focus on few of them with our Bangsa SI Bangsa clubs. Another motivation quote that catch my eyes is, remember, we are ordinary people. We can do extraordinary things to change life. This is very attractive points. Next. Oh, all right. This is I think my strength. When I saw my sister Joanne in selling the t-shirts for SI Foundations, I really like to do something which money cannot buy me. So with the moment I bought all the souvenirs sold by Joanne, the badge, the t-shirt, and the tumblers, and I put aside, I remove my coat, I put on the t-shirt, and I become the salesperson. And I don't know any one of you catch me there. I've been shouting and exciting and shouting on the t-shirts, bottles, or badge, t-shirt, bottle, or pins. I keep shouting for about 1 hour of lunch break. And I think I managed to sell quite a numbers and collect some fund for SI Foundation. That's really excites me. You can see the proof of success sales there. Keep the next one. I enjoy the movement, really enjoy the movement. And this photo took by my secretary, and he really laughed at me. He said, this is my nature, where I'm in the sales world. I put in action on that 1 hour or 2. Next. Again, I would like to thanks to all my sisters from SI's regions of Malaysia for the supports, guardians, advice, and continue support us, because we are really young and need a lot of support to make Malacca a difference, my small state of Malaysia. Thank you to all the sisters, and of course, not forgetting to SI Southeast Asia Pacific, especially Christine Johnston, who have been very encouraging us to go for more. And the next one is we are very proud to carry the flag of SISEAP. Thank you, and I hope you all enjoy my sharing, my personal feeling. That's it.
Oh, well done to you. Thank you, Lilian. You've gone from, such a personal story and so heartwarming. You've made us cry and you've made us laugh. When we look at that salesman, I was watching people's voices. So look, our condolences. It's still a hard time losing such an important person in your life. And thank you for sharing that with us, Lilian. And we offer you hope and strength and support. And as you say, you've got your sisters here. We're here. We will support you. And already I know I've made a friendship with you. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay, we shall get moving. Our next one is Jill on board. Jill's been popping in and out. Jill
Yes.
Nichols.
Hello.
You're
Yeah,
there.
hi.
Yes. I could see you popping in and out. So Jill's going to talk.
Yes,
This is
I fell off the internet for a bit. So
yes,
yeah.
yes. Jill's, as I said, has been a member of SI Plymouth since 2018. This was her first convention at Dublin. She's the president of SI Plymouth, New Plymouth, sorry. And Jill was actually lucky enough to be awarded the Yvonne Simpson Soroptimist Award to travel somewhere to spend that money, I suppose, use that money for something, some kind of conventional conference. So Jill was lucky enough to be given that. So thank you, Jill. I'll share my screen and off we go again.
Right. So yes, I was very lucky to receive the money from Yvonne Simpson's award. So thank you, Yvonne, and your award. It made it all possible. So my feelings from the convention are no different from all the others. You know, a first time meeting so many people, so many women in one place. Just seemed amazing, and it was absolutely inspirational. So I won't cover the same ground with the keynote speakers. I'll try and cover different areas. So second slide, yeah. I found the convention centre must have been built by a man. I mean, it was amazing, but we were all up high and we had to get down to the ground floor for coffee breaks, and we were all on the one escalator, so that was a huge bottleneck there. But while we stood for hours waiting for the escalator to get us to the ground floor for our coffee, we could have a view of Dublin, so that was very nice. But yeah, that was a bit of a minus. Next slide, please. Yeah, I was amazed at all the other countries that had such representation. Australia, you were similar. Taiwan particularly took my attention because you all dressed the same and looked such a cohesive group. And I think we missed that with New Zealand. We were only a small group to start with. We were only 12 of us, but I never saw all 12 of us in the one place. So we weren't really a cohesive group, but never mind. We'll work on that for future, because I think that would have helped in terms of being a first time person. Next slide, please. Yeah, this guy, we're Jim Gamble, we've already talked about, but our club's actually doing some research at the moment, trying to find out what we do have in our community on young people and their internet involvement and how safe they are, what's out there to get people's self-esteem up, young people's self-esteem up, and inform parents on what their kids are actually doing when they're sitting in their bedrooms on their phones and stuff. So that's going to be a project for us next year. Will be being safer on the internet, and it'll be workshops that involve parents as well as young people, and it'll be younger people than we've ever done anything with before. Like in the past, we've had things on high school kids, but this is going to be about 11-year-olds. That seems to be the age when they don't have the skills. They're on their phones, and as long as they're talking to somebody else, they're at risk, really. You know, once they're involved with these things. Anyway, what I found really exciting about the conference was the app that we had and how you could connect with other people just through the app. And so I had some money for this lady here, Dolly from Mongolia. Our club's been involved in building GERS in Mongolia in about 20 years ago, and we've kept a good relationship with the clubs over the years, particularly the one that they were working with in Darkhan. And so we had money that we wanted to keep giving to this club, and you have to give it in American dollars, and it's so difficult to get it there. So I decided to take the dollars with me and meet the person from Mongolia, and that was such a simple experience. All I had to do was find a name on the app and asked if I could share her business card, and she agreed to that. And then we were talking, and then we met in the lobby. So it was incredible, really. So what technology can do for you. I thought the app was amazing. I wrote all my notes on my phone and just gave you so much information. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that at all. Next one. And I presented our poster at the conference. I found that quite annoying in that I had gone to our graphics department with all the information we ever needed, a graphics shop in town, all the information we ever got about how big the poster should be and all that sort of stuff. And she told me that that was the size that the poster should be. And I took it along, and my poster was smaller than everybody else's. So I was much disappointed. But I never really looked at it, and I never really knew what an AO was for a poster. I thought a graphics person would know that. But anyway, we also were told at the last minute that our posters weren't to be displayed on just one day, which had previously been the case. You know, that numbers 1 to 50 were on the Thursday and 50 to 100 were on the Friday. And then they changed the rules, and they said, oh no, you display them for the whole time. So I had to actually go home and go back to my accommodation and get my poster, because I thought it was on the next day. So we get these emails when you're traveling overseas, and I was on a cruise ship and we didn't have Wi-Fi. So you know, that escaped me. But anyway, it was fun to present my poster. I had lots of interest in it. It was a poster about a night that we did for low socioeconomic mothers, where we brought them into the kindergarten, and they got their eyebrows reshaped and their nails painted, and they got back massage and that sort of thing. There was a bit more to it than that. I can't remember all the pampering that went on, but basically it was a pampering night for these mums. Oh, haircuts, it was another thing. So things that mums don't get to do when they're really short for cash, and spend their money and their time on their kids. And so this was a night for the mums. And so I presented that at the poster, and I got some loves on the app once again, because all the posters were up on the app, so you could read them at your leisure, and you could love the ones that you loved and all that sort of stuff. And there was a person in London who was going to do exactly what we did with London mums. So that was exciting. Next one, please. Another thing I really enjoyed was the 5 projects that were displayed, or there was a presentation on, for the opening doors to a bright future. So that was one of those things that I found really good about the convention. Was, you know, it was like a 4-year history of what's been achieved, and they were so different, these projects, from different countries, and it met the different needs and cultures of those countries. So I found that really, really interesting. Next slide, please. And I really enjoyed the fact that I mean, obviously we got information about it, but it escaped me about the International Foundation, just how future focused that is, and how, you know, now you can, you know, the projects just don't end after a few years. They can be a lot longer term, and people can leave money to the charity and all that sort of stuff. I thought that was a really future-focused way of dealing to the President's appeal that we had in the past. Yeah, next slide, please. And oh, sorry, go back one. The last one I had, the previous thingy. One before. Keep going. Just one more. One before that one. Yeah, that one. Yeah, so that's about the African Federation. I was just blown away that has only been going for 3 years at the most, and they've achieved so much to have so many clubs. You know, clubs in 26 countries in Africa after only 3 years was incredible. And the projects that they've done with women who've been widowed post-COVID, and also the huge, big community focused, or country focused rather, on cervical cancer. That was incredible. Yeah, so that was inspiring. And then I loved the convention social life. So I do Yvonne, your little thing about what to be prepared for was great. I wish I had that knowledge before I went to convention, because really you do need to save up and do things like this. We went to this night where it was an Irish night in an Irish pub. So next slide, please. The Irish love to dance, and this was our evening of Irish stew and Irish whiskey and all that sort of stuff. And we all had to get up and dance and participate. And, I think it's the Irish's very sad history that makes them really enjoy life, and they just can't get enough of it, really. And, obviously it got them through all their dance and their music in the times when they were, had famine and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, so that was well worth the €100 or so that we had to pay for that night. The next slide, please. So then finally the convention. So I'm booked on the Royal Caribbean. I'm saving now. I think that's going to be the most exciting Soroptimist event there could possibly be. I was on a cruise ship prior to the going to the convention, and we went round the Baltic Sea, and so now I've got a little taste for cruising, and Alaska sounds like just the thing. Your next slide, please. So my last little comment would be about this lovely lady here, Carmel Schmidt. I have to contact her when the All Blacks play Ireland, because she's very passionate about rugby, and my husband and I, we went on our tour, on the tour prior to the convention with the Soroptimists, and Carmel was our tour guide, and she's been the president of Great Britain and Ireland about a decade ago, and her job, well, it wasn't really a job. She worked in a university, but she found the university holidays too long, so off she went to take tour groups around Ireland. So she was fabulous. Anyway, next slide, please. So this is my point of difference, is that I went to all those places not everybody went to. So we left from Dublin and followed that pink line and went down to Kilkenny and right down to the bottom there, and we stayed the night at Kildare, I think it was, and then we did the Ring of Kerry, which is that little sort of circle down there, and stayed another night there, and then we went up along the wild west coast, the wild Atlantic coast, and it was fabulous. And then we stayed the night in Limerick, and then next morning we had to write a limerick that night. That was our homework. Next morning we all recited our limericks in the bus, and then we went up to Galway and then back across to Dublin. So that was a 4-day trip, but well worthwhile doing something like that with Soroptimists. So next slide, please. So we had Soroptimist hospitality on the way. We stopped and had about 3 clubs put on a lunch for us, which we didn't have to pay for. And we didn't just have lunch, of course. We had to dance. So next slide, please. They don't just do lunch in Ireland. They entertain. And so they do have lots of fun. So we were there for hours dancing to the music, and it was just amazing. So next slide, please. And we also did the same thing in Killarney. This was a boy that's mother was a Soroptimist, and he's playing the Irish bagpipes. So they're not blowing, they're actually squeezed under your arm. And so we had an afternoon of afternoon tea and all this Irish entertainment. So next slide, please. So you're probably all familiar with Irish dancing. A lot of Irish dancing there, they're a bit more moving than they often are, where they're quite still other than their feet. But that's apparently because Irish dancing was done in pubs and there was never enough room, so they just moved their feet, basically. But it was absolutely entertaining. It was fabulous. Next slide, please. And that's some of the ladies that were on my tour with me that were watching our entertainment. And next slide, please. And then some of the places we went to. So this is down on the Ring of Kerry, right down at the bottom of Ireland. Beautiful little place with stone cottages and boats, and I thought, oh, I'd love to stay there for a week, but we only got there to stay there for about an hour or 2, but it was just gorgeous. And last slide, So that's the cliffs on the wild west coast on the Atlantic, the cliffs of Moa, and getting battered by the Atlantic Sea, and lots and lots of birds nest in those cliffs. It was really quite amazing. At least we got a day in which we could actually see it, which apparently can be quite rare, but we did get good weather. So that's my presentation. I think my point of difference is that trip was fabulous, and being a Soroptimist with 35 other Soroptimists, and my poor partner he was one of 4 men amongst all those women, but it was great. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Jill. Look, I know we're running short of time, and there might be a couple of people who need to scoot off. So if you need to scoot off, please go for it. It is recorded, so you can come back and watch that recording. So if anyone needs to leave, thank you for coming along. Look, our final presenter is Rauda Hawson, who is a member of SI Bayside in Queensland. And Rauda, as we said before, has been a member for 40 years. And has held many positions over the years. A couple I was fascinated with was including designing the first Federation website in 1999. And I kind of look at our website now and can imagine what kind of a task that was back in 1999. What also impressed me with Rauda was that she also held the first positions of ICT liaison at both Federation and international level. So I'm keen, to hook up with Rauda again because of us trying to set up an online club. She's got a bit of background and experience in that area as well. So look, as I said, Rauda is on the planning committee for our Federation, our SIAP Federation conference next year. So if you've got some ideas also, I know that's something she wanted to mention today. So Rauda, I'll hand it over to you and I'll share my screen again.
Thank you, Kim. Now, I have to confess that I'm a convention junkie and conference junkie from way back, and so my experience and my motivation and even what I got out of it is going to be different. So from anybody else in this immediate group anyway. So perhaps other than Yvonne, because my previous experience in conventions has been actually working, presenting, and not just being part of the audience. And that's what got me hooked. And so I am really, really grateful and excited to listen to Lily Lynn and her response, because that's why I'm still here. It's the reason I'm still here. It's because I got in, I suddenly realized, heavens, there's all these women around the world and they're all working for the same cause. And it doesn't matter where you come from, they greet you like a sister, like a friend. And that's, if the reason you need to go to these things is that it changes your whole view. So what I've done is I've just got here, and I'll get you to go through the whole thing. There were 5 of us, and that was the picture of the 5 of us from my club. Now, we're barely 20 members, but we had 5 members at that. And this is a presentation that was put together by one of them. The one on the far right, Catherine, right? We have in this group, we have one of the daughter of a Soroptimist on the left, right? We have my fellow charter member of SI Bayside, Eileen, who has been Federation president. And we have Sue in the middle, who's barely been here for 5 years, and has put her hand up to become region president. So a mixed group, but Catherine put this together, and I'd just like you to just go through the slides enough to just say, this is what Catherine said to the club. This was her feedback. It's edited, but right, she recognised that we had 2 presidents for the biennium, and she explained that to us, how it worked, the way, just keep rolling through them, please. Okay, she was blown away by just 1,800 delegates in the one room. The flag ceremony, she found that moving, and I'll talk about that a little bit later too. The launch of the new logo, very important. I'm not going into the depth of the speakers and the excitement of the speakers. Keep going. Just okay. The Federation reports, the workshops, right? She found all of these things impressive. The posters and the United Nations representatives' presentations. Now that was a first, that united representation at the thing. What was not a first is this: please submit program focus reports. I think that has been the message at every meeting and ever since I joined. And then the advocacy people did their presentation. So it was a full representation of what the organisation does. And then finally, the launch of the foundation. And she summed up that it was a fabulous program. It was, the actual organisation, the activities, etc., were brilliant. The pre and post tours were brilliant. I went on both of them. And the gala dinner, Sue and Catherine both had their husbands with them, and they went to that. And the only complaints, as with Jill, is the organisation around the venue, up 5 escalators, and the basic food. Food was something that most people didn't appreciate as much. Now that was what Catherine focused on, and she gave a really comprehensive view to our club as a feedback, which I think is very interesting. But the thing that I'd just like to point out was that what Catherine and the others had nothing to do with was the chat line. Yvonne's mentioned this. As part of my ICT journey, right, the chat line was part of that initially, because you have to, if you go back 25 years, if all this digital stuff was really, it was really new and not something that we actually knew anything about. I was made the ICT liaison, and then I was asked to draw my own job description, because we had no idea. And this was started by a woman called Kate Moore in England, based on something that her husband, who was in Rotary, was doing. And you had to sign up for it. And it was the first time that people could actually meet each other globally, because very few people, it's great having 1,800 people, but we've got how many thousands of members? And we had even more members then. And so the chat line was, only digital, as your digital club will be. And they took the advantage from the very, very early stages of actually seeking to meet face to face at the convention. So they knew each other from online, and we used to, it was for a lot of people, it was the first time that they even understood the things like United Nations representatives. We didn't have websites at that stage. We had no website to tell us that. So unless you're in a position, you didn't know about it. But the chat line, suddenly, all of a sudden, this is what we're doing, and this is our part of the world, and the UN rep, there was the UN rep who joined, and so on. And so this was an opportunity to get together. And what happened at Dublin, which I think was quite amazing, the woman that, the member that Jill showed, Dolly's daughter was, she had a rare form of cancer, and the only way she could get treated was in Germany. And so she put it out on the chat line, and the chat line sponsored her to go to Germany and have the treatment. And she wrote a letter to the chat line lunch saying thank you. She's now married and has 2 children, right? So the power of, first of all, communication through this digital means, and secondly, of the really firm friendships that then form when people actually meet each other. When you go to another part of the world and there's a Soroptimist there, and they meet you, they take you, they show you their place, they offer accommodation. We had for years again a digital open heart, open door, where people actually signed up. It's run by SI Europe. I was number 400 on the list, and you sign up and say, this is where I live and this is what I'm prepared to do. I'm prepared to host people. I'm prepared to, and so people come and get together based on that. And our club had met a lady called Angela from Britain. She came to Brisbane, and thanks to that, well, partly thanks to that app, we tried to contact this woman to try and find this one person in 1,800 delegates is a challenge. And Jill was right. You know, we did a little hello, Angela, but Angela didn't actually follow through on it. And it wasn't until day 3 that we actually found Angela, because we went into the morning tea every day going around the room trying to find Angela. And we did, and we finally got together. And also with the Mongolians, because the Mongolians had been hosted by Catherine when they came to Brisbane for the Federation conference we had here. And we've been in constant contact ever since. And so we met up with them again. So I think that aspect is also something that people need to take into consideration. The other thing is the meetings that are associated with the actual conferences and conventions. And these are really important because actually that's where all the decisions are made. And see, Lee Lin went to the AGM, right? So the AGM of the organisation was always held with the convention. At one stage, there was also a program meeting that was held in association where clubs and regions from all over the world had the opportunity to have input into the program focus. That doesn't happen anymore, but the AGM does. At international level, that's not, you know, it's interesting, and I've always gone to them, but why I'm mentioning this, if you could go to the next slide. All right. These associated meetings are very, very important for conferences. The Conference of Clubs used to be where actually all motions and decisions were discussed actually at the conference and mixed in with the conference program. With the restructure, this conference is going to be different from any past conferences of Federation, right? And we're not going to have any of that. We're not going to have discussion of motions. We're going to have it'll be more like an international convention. We will be having keynote speakers. We will be having panels. We'll be discussing important issues, and we will have workshops. The meetings, however, are still happening. They're just not happening at the convention. They're happening on the day before. And I would seriously encourage people not just to come to the conference, but to come to the Federation meeting that precedes the conference, because there will be an AGM for the Federation and the clubs will have to vote, and we need a quorum of people at an AGM. And we've always done it in that, well, we've been doing it with a bit of a mixture of digital, like a hybrid meeting, but it's really great for people to be able to be there because and each club has a delegate or can have a delegate to the AGM and has a vote. And so that's where we actually have our say. The conference, yeah, we get all this exciting information and buzz on a slightly lower scale, thank heavens. The idea of organising 17 to 1800 people is a bit, I don't think I'll put my hand up for that, frankly. So, but basically, we're looking at about 300 delegates, right, from around, and it's going to be at the Gold Coast, right? It's over a weekend. Friday, May the 3rd. The conference actually starts on Friday, May the 3rd at night with the friendship evening. So the meetings will be the day. So you need to be there anyway. So just make sure you get there on the Thursday so you get bright and early up to the meetings before you actually head off for the friendship night and the start of the convention. In the past, we had a meeting before and a meeting after. So we've at least, we've streamlined a lot of things and a lot of things have changed. But this is going to be a conference that we are organising, which, as I said, is quite, if you go to the next screen, okay, it's a different style of conference than the Federation has had up until now. And I think that's going to be really interesting and exciting. We've put together a program, a draft program already, with an afternoon of workshops. And the theory that we're working on, the ideas that we're working on, is that we discuss the issues in the conference time and that the workshops feed off that. So we've been looking at the themes, and some of them were in Dublin that people found important. And clearly gender equality and just empowerment of women is number one. Because, and especially with Sue Yong coming in as our international president with her whole focus on saving Mother Earth, we have a big session on the environment organised, or well, planned at the moment. And we have also been looking at the whole digital thing as well as one of the themes that we're going to be looking at. I agree. Catherine agreed with everybody else that the Jim Gamble thing on digital safety was one of the most powerful presentations. So it's clearly an issue, but it's an issue that's, it's problematic. In my head, and I don't know yet whether I'm going to be allowed to do this, but I'm calling it in my head digital, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Because, we couldn't be doing this without the digital revolution. AI is scary, but, it's also got potential. So, that's the sort of themes that we're looking at. And we're looking to involve people just like as in this webinar. And so hopefully we're going to have panels of people who are Soroptimists as part of the workshops and even as part of the plenary sessions. It's been chosen to be at the most convenient possible location. You'll be pleased to know there are not 5 sets of escalators. You walk out the door and there is the morning tea and afternoon tea and lunch for you. Okay, not even, no, you won't even have to worry about elevators or anything. And it's also got great views. It's 3 minutes from the airport by taxi. Surrounded by multiple accommodation places, two of which you can actually just walk undercover from. It's like next door. It's called Twin Towns, and it has both a set of apartments and a major hotel attached, literally physically attached to it. And there's also masses of other accommodation. And one of the committee members has already done a list for us, which we will circulate. But we're not doing the bookings or anything like that. But we have done the research as to what sort of things are available and how you can book. We are following with the Dublin precedent of making the banquet a separate event that you pay for, and we've worked really hard to keep the price down as far as possible, and it won't be anything like Dublin, which I agree was really scary. It was a huge amount, but we've worked really hard to keep it down as far as possible, and we're trying to record some of the sessions, and so people can attend digitally. We're exploring that as well. But there's nothing like being, as you just heard with all these speakers, nothing like being there. So that's my bit.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Rauda. And I'm just wondering, just on your point, the list of accommodation places, because I presume they'll book out quickly and the prices will go up. So when would we get a copy of perhaps those accommodation places?
Well, we're in the final stages of actually doing that organisational bit. And Christine actually wants our website. She wants our website by the end of October. So it's in the pipeline, but I keep getting distracted onto minor things like this, and we've just
Okay.
I'm a membership coordinator of my club as well, and so there's been priorities, and I'm still lining them, but it will be soon.
Well,
before the end of this year.
Lovely, thank you. Okay, everyone. Look, I know we've certainly had a great discussion, and we're nearly getting up to 2 hours. So, look, I would love to thank our presenters, Yvonne, Judy, Leanne, Jill, and Rauda for coming along and making this a really. I'm pumped. I'm really excited about going next year to the Federation one. There was lots of things that you spoke about that I think are of interest to us all. So we will go back and we'll watch the recordings. But I'll send the PowerPoints. I think there's a way. I've got all your emails. I can send the PowerPoints. Rauda, I'm thinking I'll send some information about the chat line. If people are interested in getting on the SI chat line, I'm on it. So there's just a little, you have to just let Kate know and she'll hook you up. So look, thanks again, everyone. Really appreciate it.
It's a worry because it so relies on Kate, and she's
yes. Look, does anyone have any final comments or questions, burning questions they've got before we leave?
Can I just?
Yes, Yvonne.
I just want to make a correction about the Africa. It's been a federation for 3 years, but it was a conglomerate of countries before then. Some of them belong to Europe and some of them belong to SIGB, and it took a special push for them to come together as one federation. So I'm not undermining the task that they undertook. It's just that there was a bit of history behind it.
I put that in the chat line. Because they have done amazing things, but when I joined, it was easier for the people in the French-speaking parts of Africa and the German-speaking and all of that to contact people in Europe than it was to actually ring next door, right? Because all the communication lines went along that way. And so they couldn't communicate with each other in those days very easily. And yeah, it's been a long time discussion.
Okay.
Sorry, that was some new knowledge of mine today.
Yeah,
Didn't realise all that.
yeah. No, but that's what it's all about, isn't it? And I mean, I'm going to take away Liliane's view on and the photographs of those who are in their wheelchairs, etc. And you know, I take it to my heart that that the role model of them persevering to come was inspiring. And those women are women who have made that journey in many ways, on many levels. And you know that and you know Jill's insights into what she got on the way, and Judy's touching on CSW and Relda. To me, it brought tears to my eyes that we
well,
had.
I'm so glad I didn't have to speak straight after it.
But I think that everybody sort of brought a different perspective, and it was really, really good. So well done, Kim, for persevering with this. So
yes,
well
thank you. Thank you. And thank you to my offsider, Debbie Cobby, who was in the background helping me with some tech support and some chats. I just want to remind people that we are an online community. We're always looking for members. Where we can take any members from the Southeast Asia Pacific, dual members, but we are very close to chartering as a club. So we're a community, an online community, but we're that close. We're just getting things set up. So it's an exciting time to join a new club. So if you're interested, please, my details are there.
When do you meet?
Okay, we meet on the second Sunday of each month. So we've got a meeting next Sunday. Is it the second or third? No, sorry, third. First Sunday of the month is book club. Third Sunday of the month is our online community. We meet at 6 p.m. Australian daylight savings time at the moment. So it's all a bit crazy.
Third Sunday of the month.
Third Sunday. If you're interested, drop me an email. We're on our Facebook page. You can come. I did have my details up here, but now, of course,
We've got them on the end of the email.
Yes, they're on the email. So yeah, there's my details.
Okay.
And there have been people who've done things before, and it'll be lovely to see this particular initiative come to fruition, won't it, Relda?
Oh, sure will. Sure will.
So that's my details. If you're interested.